Good afternoon, I'm Milton Walker with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The Ministry of Education is reporting that 80% of the 39,689 students who were graded for the primary exit profile PEP examinations were placed in schools of their choice. Minister of Education Gov't Senator made the announcement a few minutes ago during a virtual press conference.
Of the 39,689 students, 38,918 were deemed to be eligible to move on to high school and were placed accordingly. 100% of the students were placed in high schools. 16% of students were placed in secondary level schools that are in close proximity to the schools that they currently attend. 80% or 31,017 of the students were placed in one of their preferred schools.
Mr. Samuda outlined the method which was used to grade each student.
Similar to the grade 6 achievement test, the primary exit profile uses the total placement scores for ranking and placing students based on a weighted formula of standardized test scores. The work that they did in grade 4 and the assessment of grade 4, we attributed 30% to that. Grade 5, we attributed 20% to that, and grade 6, 50%. The abilities test, which is arguably one of the finest indications as to the child's ability to cope with a higher level of learning.
The COVID-19 surveillance is ongoing in sections of West Kingston in a bid to determine the extent of positive cases in the area. This follows recent confirmation of 5 cases of the virus in Tivoli Gardens. 100 public health professionals were deployed in the community to conduct house-to-house visits yesterday. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the health workers are conducting contact tracing in the area where the cases were discovered.
The team are on the ground, as was reported. We're back there today. They were there yesterday. The area where the cases were discovered is under some surveillance, meaning public education, house-to-house checks, and testing. And the idea is to determine the extent to which there may be other persons affected.
Dr. Tufton adds that a determination will be made about whether or not further measures are needed based on the information that will be collected from the house-to-house visits.
If the results of the initial surveillance suggest a need for that, then we would certainly do that. But it will be based on information. This is a very important issue, so it clearly is something that we have to deal with, and that's what we have been doing in the past when we quarantine communities or institutions. We pull on the resources of the teams in the respective region, which may mean multiple parishes, and move in quickly, do what has to be done, and then take a more methodical approach, having surveyed the landscape and determine what's the best approach going forward.
Over in Westmoreland, fishing has been placed on hold due to the poor visibility as a result of the Saharan dust currently over the island. The Saharan dust has resulted in a decrease in fish sales. The details in this report.
Courageous fishermen now cowering in fear.
I have an ex guy who kept my boat there for me, and I said, he said to me this man, so why he want to move, but he afraid of it.
This is the country's largest fishing village in White House, Westmoreland. Since the start of the week, the fishermen have opted to dock their boats as venturing out to sea required more effort than they're used to. This is what the ocean looked like in the distance. Hazy conditions prevailed as far as the eyes could see.
The condition not really good, you know. It's rough because of the weather. You mean they can't go see. They can't be able to see which part they might go because the whole place is fast up.
Fisherman Thaddeus Davis says weather conditions like what is being experienced requires use of the appropriate technology like a GPS. However, he contends this will not protect smaller fishing vessels from large ships at sea.
If you're a man when you use GPS, I have a draw mark off island, you can't find your partner again neither. So it affects you in a many form of different kind of way going out there. But the dangerous one, if a ship come, that's the worst one out of all. But a ship can't from you to right here, so you don't seem to have anything come right from you. So that is the turbulence part of it. So you have in our scale right now, we don't want to go say we can't go through dust right now. We have to wait and make it pass at first.
He advises that unless conditions improve, fishermen venturing more than 90 miles out to sea should remain cautious. Nighttime expeditions are also a no-no. In the meantime, while little fishing is taking place, fish sales since the start of a week have taken a nosedive.
It's the first we ever see something like this. It's affecting business pretty much because like in the market, we have fish stocking up, like everyone kind of scared to come out of the dust.
Most of the customers, whenever time I spoke to them on the phone, they said they are not coming out because of the dust.
Meanwhile, the Met Service says there will be a reduction in the concentration of the Saharan dust this weekend. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The new government senator has formally taken her seat in the upper house. Attorney-at-law Nova Hamilton was sworn in this morning following the Prime Minister's announcement earlier this week. In welcoming Ms. Hamilton, fellow female senators on both sides of the House indicated that her appointment will not only be valued for her expected contribution, but was also symbolic.
Senator Hamilton will bring her own love for Jamaica, her own sensitivity to our culture, her own work ethic honed over the years, and her deliberation to the debates in this House. She also brings us to the percentage of 29% women in the Senate.
But I do look forward to seeing the spirit which the leader has mentioned being demonstrated here in a way in which Jamaica will be enriched by that contribution which you will make. Welcome.
This appointment is quite symbolic to me because it represents two things. One, it represents hope, and yes, hope for many, but in particular for those young men and women who may be watching today from D-side, Calabar, Prospect, Bounty Hall, Clarkstown, Newtown, Falmouth, and Trelawney, who can now feel inspired to dream big and to do great things because I stand here as a manifestation of what is possible for them.
Okay, we take a break now on Midday News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Continuing the news. The Jamaica Public Service Company, the JPS, says the Saharan dust could have an impact on its power supply as well as customers' usage. According to Vice President for Energy Delivery at JPS, Blaine Jarrett, the settling of the dust on the power delivery infrastructure could lead to power outages. He says the company has intensified its maintenance activities to ensure limited disruption in power supply. The company has also indicated that persons with solar panels may see a drop in power produced by the panels because the Saharan dust has reduced the impact of the sun's rays. Mr. Blaine says it could result in those customers taking more power than usual from the grid. He's therefore urging customers to be more vigilant in self-monitoring their usage. Meanwhile, farmers are upset with bauxite mining company Jamaica over the destruction of their crops. O'Shane Masters reports.
We want justice! We want justice! We want justice!
It's the all too familiar cry across Jamaica. Justice. This time, not for the death of a loved one, but the livelihoods of many in South Manchester. Farming.
Look at the quality cassava! If we don't eat food, we're gonna die.
For the past 2 days, a group of farmers in South Manchester have protested the treatment being meted out to them by mining company Jamaica, leaving the company's trucks at a standstill for almost 3 hours. The farmers claim that their fields with a variety of crops ready for reaping were bulldozed by the company for mining. They used their bodies to block the road in their community to demand a compensation from Jamaica for the damage to their crops.
You're not giving a notice, you know. Come give me notice, say you got sugar wrong that you can't sell the food will be here.
I was there in front of the tractor begging the man not to push off my crop, and the man still push it off. And you know, me keep on saying, please sir, let me get help and take it off. And he said, I hard, I won't get, me push off me things. Me left things, me sell some of the cassava, me left some, say, when me data result come out, me I go get it sort out our uniform to go to school.
Our team was unable to access the damaged fields as they are part of Jamaica's property and are in a restricted area. The residents also complained of other problems such as the persistent dust they have had to contend with over the years.
We are getting scared of Jamaica. The dust is giving us a rough time. In the mornings when we wake from our bed, we cough like until we spit blood. And they don't compensate us for nothing. And we are going through a rough time. The water is being contaminated. We have a reservoir here that Jamaica mining company has to put it aside, and they're giving us some water in drums, where as they full the drum and leave, the drum empty. It cannot supply the district because it's a very large district, and now they're coming to push away the food and leaving us in poverty, hungry, and desperation. Look at the quality cassava. If we don't eat food, we're gonna die. We have a reservoir here that Jamaica mining company has to put it aside, and they're giving us some water in drums, where as they full the drum and leave, the drum empty.
Member of Parliament for the constituency, Michael Stewart, says he will be seeking compensation on behalf of the farmers.
They are saying that they are not able to compensate the citizens. I believe that is not in keeping with what the Bauxite policy is all about.
Me need some compensation. Tomorrow me I get the result for me data. I not have nothing to start. Me not nobody to help me. And that me I depend upon.
The farmers and the citizens on a whole, they are poorer because of bauxite mining in South Manchester and in particular in St. Toulis. Their fruit trees are gone, their crops are gone, their pimento trees, everything. They normally sell their oranges, tangerine to send their children back to school, especially at this time of the year. There is nothing there.
He is calling on Mining Minister Robert Montague to step in and have dialogue with the mining company. But for now, the farmers have this appeal to the Prime Minister.
I want you to take action for us. We need help. We need justice. We need your assistance, sir. And if we don't get any justice, we're gonna block the road.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The issue of overloaded trucks transporting construction material on the nation's roads continues to pose a danger to not only motorists but pedestrians as well. As you'll hear in this report, the practice is also illegal, and with the new Road Traffic Act, perpetrators will face stiffer penalties.
The overloading of trucks transporting quarry material remains a major concern for the National Road Safety Council (NRSC) and the Island Traffic Authority (ITA). It's a practice that's illegal. Under the Road Traffic Act, a truck should only carry loads weighing 30 tons at maximum with a special permit. But according to Acting Director of the ITA, Donald Henry, haulage contractors tend to overload their trucks for economic gain.
I suspect that because of economics, a lot of these truck, these haulage personnel would tend to overload the truck because the truck, as they say, quote unquote, can carry more.
It's also dangerous as it can be life-threatening.
Because sometimes, although it is properly covered, debris will tend to fall because of road contour or suspension movement. And I can tell you, if a pebble falls off and it becomes airborne, it can actually shatter your windscreen.
That has happened. In fact, when I was speaking to the police this morning, they told me of a police officer who was injured broken by material falling from a truck.
One of the obvious results is the damage it causes to the nation's roads.
If you look at, for example, a roadway leading to St. Thomas, you'd realize that a lot of the roadways is very uneven. And that is caused because in that part of the country, you have a lot of aggregate being moved. And these overweight truck damages the roadway. Another spot is somewhere in St. Elizabeth, between a place named Sandybank, in the Sandybank vicinity, in which a lot of aggregate is being moved. You realize that from time to time, the roadway is uneven, again, because of these overweight trucks.
In 2018, the NRSC lobbied for changes to the new Road Traffic Act to deal specifically with this issue. And since then,
we have made significant progress, and in fact, we had a meeting with the Prime Minister just last week, and the Minister of Transport was there, and he gave us an update on the Road Traffic Act. And we were very pleased with the progress, although we had hoped that we would have been much further on now, but there has been some progress.
Vice Chairman of the NRSC, Dr. Lucian Jones, says once the regulations governing the new act have been officially published, perpetrators will face stiffer penalties.
If you are found driving a truck which exceeds the weight under the law, you can be fined under the current provisions of the Road Traffic Act up to $9,500 for a ticket. That amount of money is going to be significantly increased with the new Road Traffic Act. I can't tell you that exact figure, but I know it's going to be a significant increase.
In the meantime, Dr. Jones is making this appeal to other motorists.
Stay very far from them. If you can, overtake them at the earliest opportunity. But you shouldn't be right. You shouldn't ride behind any car or any vehicle for that matter, because it decreases your ability to stop if necessary, certainly. If you see people driving a truck and lots of materials dropping on the road or dropping on people's cars, then make sure you call in and tell the police.
Prince Moore, TVJ News.
The Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston received a boost yesterday with the opening of the island's second maternal high dependency unit. The unit is part of efforts to encourage more pregnant women to access health care in order to improve health outcomes for both mother and baby. More in this report.
The High Dependency Unit, HDU, and a refurbished space for neonatal care were opened at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in downtown Kingston. EU Ambassador to Jamaica, Malgorzata Waseluska, said the COVID-19 experience has highlighted the importance of countries having strong public health systems and responses to protect and preserve life.
Health is the foundation on which all our hopes and aspirations are built, and everyone from the poorest to the richest, from the newborn baby to the elderly, has the right to access preventive health care and to benefit from treatment to protect well-being and save lives.
Ambassador Waseluska also said despite the crisis, the EU will continue to support Jamaica's health sector.
The European Union will continue to support health systems strengthening in Jamaica and the region through the contribution of regional programs through CARFA and also through substantial funding to PAHO to enhance coordination and increase the climate resilience of health system in CARIFORM countries.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton applauded the healthcare workers for their resilience, but also highlighted the need for infrastructural development. He said the ministry is committed to the upgrading of health facilities across the island.
As we speak, we're doing the architectural work on a number of hospitals, Spanish Town, St. Anne's Bay, Clarendon or Maypen, and I believe some work is being done next door also as it relates to KPH. So my view is that over the next 3 to 5 years, we are going to see the largest investment in public health infrastructure that Jamaica has seen perhaps for the last 25 years.
The PROMAC initiative, which is funded at a cost of €22 million, is expected to equip 4 hospitals with the resources and skills needed to care for the most vulnerable pregnant women and newborns. Shimala Pulen, TVJ News.
And that's the midday news. Milton Walker join us at 7 for primetime news on behalf of the news, sports and production teams. Good afternoon.